The Beginner's Guide to Friendship Bracelets is a collection of photo tutorials for beginners that will take you all the way from the basics to the more advanced stuff. It is now available for purchase worldwide anywhere you typically buy books, and there is also a direct link in the description. Hello, my name is Masha, and today I'm going to teach you how to make this gorgeous friendship bracelet. This bracelet only has one repeating row. It looks difficult, I promise it isn't. And on top of that, there isn't a single reverse knot in the entire bracelet. I think someone just starting out with friendship bracelets can absolutely make this. That said, going into this tutorial, I expect that you know how to make the basic knots. If you don't, there is a separate tutorial linked in the description. I won't be explaining the knots, I'll just be telling you which ones to make. And if you're looking for beginner tutorials that might be a little bit more simple, I have a full playlist which will be linked in the card and in the description. Let's get into it. For this bracelet you will need 8 colors, and if you're doing a triangle start like me, you'll need to cut 2 strings per color roughly a meter in length. Once you've cut your strings, leave roughly 15 centimeters to create ties out of later, and attach your strings to your workspace. I do this with tape because it's easier for me to film, but you can do this however you like. And just so you know, there's usually more than one piece of tape, just to make sure those strings are kept in place. The beautiful washi tape that you see in my videos is something that I put on top of the tape, just for decoration. I'm going to be making a half triangle end to start this bracelet. I have a separate tutorial on triangle ends that goes into detail about the topic. There is also another tutorial called More on Triangle Ends that goes even further in detail about the topic. I'll leave both of those videos linked for you, but I will also explain in this video. Just because this bracelet is so easy, I figure we have some extra time to go over this in proper detail. The only thing you really need to know is the string order, and for this bracelet, the string order is going to be the order in which you want to see your strings appear in the bracelet. The first color for me is this deep red. With that first string, you're going to do a backward knot onto the entire bundle. Since we have 2 strings per color, the next string is also going to be the same color. And this string is going to do a backward knot on the bundle, excluding the string that we just brought out. Next, bring out the second color. Again, these are in the order that you want them to appear in your bracelet. So for me, it's kind of a gradient rainbow-ish order. So the red string is going to be next. And again, we do a backward knot onto the entire bundle, excluding the strings that we already brought out. There's 2 strings per color, so do the same with the next string for this color. And so on. Every time you bring a new string out, the bundle becomes smaller, and eventually you'll run out of strings in the bundle and you would have had all of the strings out. So continue doing this in the same order that you want your strings to show up in the bracelet. Now that we've brought out all of the strings and they are in the order that we need, we can start the tutorial. As I said, this is just one row and it is extremely simple. I've taped down this string to create some tension. It's just easier for me to film. You don't have to do this, but if you think it might help you, you can. We're pretty much just gonna start doing the candy stripe for the first 3 knots. So this string on the outermost edge does 3 forward knots, 1 on each of these strings. So the start is just 3 forward knots, just like you start a regular candy stripe. Then the 3 strings we just did knots onto, we can put them off to the side. We're not going to be using them for now. This is going to be our leading string for the rest of this row. We separate 3 more strings after this one. And this time, instead of making forward knots onto them, these 3 strings are going to be making backward knots onto our leading string, one by one. First, this string does a backward knot, then this string does a backward knot, and then this string also does a backward knot. So 3 backward knots. That way we're moving the string further along the bracelet, but we're not making knots of its color. We're making knots onto it. And again, all of these strings, once we're done, can be put off to the side, just leaving the leading string. Separating 3 more strings, our leading string does forward knots onto these now. So 1 forward knot each. This time, we're making knots of its color. Again, once we're done, these can be put off to the side and we focus on the next 3 strings. I can see you're sensing a pattern here. You can probably guess where this is headed. These 3 strings are going to make backward knots onto the leading string. First this string does a backward knot, then this string, and then this string. 3 backward knots onto our leading string. And finally, for the last part of the row, our leading string does 3 forward knots. And that's it. The first row is done, and that makes up our entire repeating pattern. 3 forward knots, 3 backward knots, 3 forward knots, 3 backward knots, and 3 more forward knots. Very simple, in the shape of a candy stripe, and the pattern repeats. I think we can do one more row together since we have the time. This time I'm going to go a little bit faster. The leftmost string at the start of a new row is always going to be the new leading string, just like in a candy stripe. We separate the first 3 strings that come after it and do 3 forward knots. We put those 3 strings off to the side, separate the next 3. And these 3 strings do 3 backward knots onto our leading string. Three more strings and 3 more forward knots. Another 3 strings, and this time 3 backward knots. And for the last 3 strings, 3 forward knots. And that's it. The first 2 rows are done, the colours have now switched, but the pattern remains the same. Continue making the bracelet until it reaches the length that you want. There are timestamps in the description that make it easier for you to skip around this tutorial. You can rewind to the beginning, watch it again, and make it over and over until the bracelet is long enough. I'm gonna go finish my bracelet off camera, and I'll see you once I'm done. And this is how the bracelet turned out. I really love it. I love illusion style friendship bracelets in general. They're just so fun. I made twisted ties for this friendship bracelet, for which I have a separate tutorial, which will also be linked in the card and in the description. I have an office day coming up tomorrow, and I think I'm just gonna wear this bracelet out. Can't wait. My book, The Beginner's Guide to Friendship Bracelets, is now out worldwide. You can get it any way you typically buy books, and there's also a direct link in the description. The book goes all the way from the basics to the more advanced stuff in photo tutorials. I want to give a special shout out to my patrons, and especially my top supporters. It is with their support that I'm able to create the videos that I do on this channel, and I really appreciate their support. If you also want to help me create the videos that I make on this channel, the link to my Patreon is in the description. But in any case, thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed today's video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!